initial reaction to seeing where you're headed and the teams in your bracket?
It's exciting. It's exciting. Past 2 years we've been a 1 seed, so go to Miami and try to fight it out with those 3 teams. It's going to be fun. Yeah, I'm excited.
Not having a 1 seed, not hosting, does that give this team a chip on the shoulder or something to prove, or is it, it's NCAA tournament, you guys have bigger goals than proving people wrong?
Yeah, I think even if you are a 1 seed, I think there's always something to prove. So just kind of the same mentality going in, whether you're a 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed, and just try to be the last team standing out of that regional and go to super regional.
Lucas, I know Arlington didn't go at all how you guys wanted to. What have the last couple of days been like, just regrouping and getting back and getting ready for the regional?
Yeah, kind of. It's been good. I think we learned a lot. Even though we lost, it's we always say you either win or you learn. So we learned a lot. Didn't hurt to get some extra rest. And then we're just going to use what we took out of the Arlington games and then use them into this weekend.
Right after the announcement, a couple guys clapped, said, "Let's go." What's kind of the internal belief and confidence as you guys head into the postseason now?
Yeah, I think it's mostly just believing in ourselves and believing and trusting each other to come out of there and have some success.
So Lucas, what was the switch that got flipped with West Virginia? Then it kind of went to a lull and then to Dallas, Arlington.
I don't think that field likes us too much. Something about that field. I think our mentality was really good. We just didn't play well. No real excuses. It's just we just didn't play as well as the other teams did. That simple, I think.
Even though this season was allegedly a rebuild season, you guys still do have a lot of players on this team who have experience either here or elsewhere in the tournament. You guys have played in the tournament. How are you guys going to use that experience going forward to help this team?
Yeah, I think, or I hope that the older guys, including myself, kind of guided the younger players into what we need to win games like these. So kind of just it should have started from the fall and guide those guys, and they should be ready for this weekend.
How big of a difference is the routine? You go on one less day in Arlington. Now you're going to have a little more than normal rest. How does that work with your arm and everything?
Well, I kind of treated the days going into Friday like just kind of a rest couple days, and then treat these past couple days and this weekend like I threw Friday, just to kind of get my mind in the same routine like I threw this past Friday, and then just going into the next Friday.
3 totally unfamiliar teams you haven't played. What's the prep process look like for the staff and getting ready for these out-of-conference teams that are going to be in Miami with y'all?
Yeah. Well, obviously, just look at a bunch of video. And again, it's we're playing new teams, but it's all on ourselves. I don't really think the teams really change anything. It's just competing against each other, and I think we've shown what we can do against good teams when we play. I don't think many teams can beat us when we're playing well. So again, nothing really changes that we're playing new teams. It's just kind of go out there and play our own game.
Good. So as a younger gentleman, how familiar are you with the Will Smith Miami song?
I have no idea what it is, to be honest.
You're dying over here. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
I'll see you later.
Thanks, Lucas.
Thank you, guys.
Lucas said he's never heard of Will Smith's Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
Come on.
You're fine.
Yeah. I'm a vet. I know good music.
All right.
Not home, but closest thing to going home is how special is it to go back to Florida and play?
I've actually never been down to Miami, so it's about 5 hours from home. So my parents will be able to go, which will be super awesome. They haven't been to a game since Tech, I believe, so it'll be good to see them. But it's just opportunity for us to get out there and compete against 3 good teams, and I know we're all looking forward to it.
EK, what do you, as a senior guy that's been there in Omaha and been through this process, what are you telling the young guys? Just process. How do you prepare yourselves?
Just try to enjoy it. I mean, these are the kind of environments, these kind of games that you sign up to play college baseball for. Is going to regionals and playing these kind of games. I know it's going to be raucous there. It's going to be a fun environment, cool city that we get to go experience. So just really soak it all in, take it one pitch, one at a time, and then at the end of the day, it's still the same game we've been playing since we were younger. So just try to not make it bigger than it is, and just go have fun and enjoy it.
Do you think the returners on this team can take anything from that ECU series last year about playing on the road in a regional, super regional environment?
For sure, I think obviously we got beat around pretty good game one, but I think that was a good thing for us. Just shows us dealing with adversity, and I think that could serve us well if we drop game one. We've been there before. We know what to expect. We know the mentality and what we need to do to take that next step and come back and battle through. So I think, yeah, it sucked at the time, but at the same time, it's probably one of the better things that happened to us because now we know how to deal with it.
Eric, what are you looking forward most about this part of the season?
Honestly, just the environments. There's nothing better in postseason baseball. I remember ECU, that was so fun. The environment, the crowd was talking a lot to us out in the outfield. It was just so much fun, just soaking it all up. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, that's the kind of stuff you sign up for. I'm sure Miami, I don't know much about their ballpark, but I'm sure it's going to be the same kind of thing. It's going to be raucous. There's going to be a lot of fans there. They're going to be chirping us, and that's what it's all about right there.
Is it a good thing for the younger guys to go through something of the high of winning a Big 12 title and then the immediate low of going through the Big 12 tournament, so they kind of understand how you have to stay even keel no matter what's going on?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we all know baseball is a game of failure. You're going to have your ups and your downs, so it's just you got to find a way to stay in the middle through all that time. And I think, like you mentioned, that's something that, losing those 2 games really taught us is you got to have that same mentality, same attitude every time you get on the mound or step on the box. And I think it's something that could be good for us.
Did you see what you wanted to see from your teammates the last couple of days as far as their response and just kind of how they responded to that?
For sure, yeah. We came to work the next day after that. We worked the right way, and we did the same thing on Saturday. Nothing's changed in our work. We're still working hard, and I think it could have been easy for us to kind of just take it easy past a couple of days. We don't play for a week or something, but we did a good job of getting back in there and getting back to what made us good, and that's the work.
Eric, obviously you guys were familiar with Porter from his time at TCU, but what is his addition to the team then? How does he just kind of fit in with you all this year?
Oh, it's been huge. Obviously, he's put up great numbers. He's just another veteran guy who's been through it, and I don't know where we'd be without him. He's a great guy. We know we can always count on him, and obviously he's a great player. So he's been a huge part of our success, and I know he's going to play a big part in this postseason.
Good. Thanks, Steve.
I was asking. Have you ever heard of Will Smith's Miami before?
I have not, no. What's that?
Y'all are killing me. It's great music, that's what it is.
333, dude. You're still in the Hall of Fame.
Dylan, last year you guys had the experience obviously going to East Carolina and seeing what it's like to play in a crazy environment. That experience, will that help at all on the road, especially if y'all end up playing Miami at their place?
Yeah, I think it'll help a little bit. But like for this year's lineup, I think like most of those guys weren't there or like in the lineup, so they didn't really get to experience it as much. But yeah, it'll definitely help because I wouldn't assume that Miami's as crazy of an environment. But there's definitely some good teams in there, so it'll be a fun one.
How much does it help you having the big moments that you had with Super last year?
I think it helps a lot. Just being able to play on the road makes it a lot easier. It makes me able to be able to slow the game down as much as possible playing in like a big environment like that. So I think we'll be ready for it.
You guys have bounced back from some tough stretches earlier this season. You think back to the OU series and what you were able to do after that. How do you do that again now after what happened in Arlington?
We kind of just have that bad feeling still in our mouth, and we're gonna go take that anger that we had after losing to K-State and just take that into regionals, be able to let that fuel us going into the next week.
Dylan, what are you looking forward most about this part of the season?
I mean, it's always fun, playing with when it's win or go home. So I think that always brings the best out of me, and I think it'll be to bring the best out of the teammates as well. So I think it's just what we've been working for all year and throughout the fall.
At this point, are you even still thinking about your streak and that number, or how are you kind of going into each game knowing the kind of run you're on?
Oh, not really. No, I think it's just like we've been told that it's a new season, and I fully agree with that. So everything starts over. You turn the page, and it's just a new journey that we get to start coming up on Friday.
Do you know much about any Miami, Maine, Louisiana? Do you know much about those teams, or how do you prepare for some teams you may not have seen?
No, I don't really know much about them, but we got this week to prepare and watch them film on their guys. I mean, you got to go into it. It's postseason, so you got to go into it expecting that every team is good, and we got to bring our A game if we want to come out of it. So that's kind of how we're going into it.
You used the word anger coming out of K-State. How did the team respond? The last few days, how have you seen them?
It's been good. I feel like our work has been right, and kind of getting a similar feeling like after that first San Jose State game where we kind of let one get away from us. So I just know that we're going to come into this weekend ready to go.
Good. Thanks, Dylan.
Thanks, guys.
Go look up Miami.
I'm excited for our team. You look at different routes to getting to Omaha and different routes of competing for a national championship, but there's not one exact, and I'm just proud of our team to just keep grinding it out and position themselves to have opportunities to keep competing and playing together. And I like our draw, really. I do, because if you are sitting somewhere in the 8-9, then you're kind of matching up with the people that are kind of in the similar situation you're in. So I like the opportunity that we're going to have in Miami.
Do you look at that as the same with what you do in a tournament? Has nothing to do with what happens in the regional. You could win it and then go 2 and out. You could lose 2 and advance. I mean, it's been done a lot of times.
I don't know if I quite understand your question, Raj, other than
Success in the Big 12 tournament has really nothing to do
no
with this.
bearing whatsoever. I mean, so many times we went 0-2, come home, rest, kind of regroup, and played tremendously in a region and advanced to Omaha. So, like I said, there's different routes of how to get there. But you look at our play against West Virginia, that's what I want to see. I just want to see us be aggressive, play smart, play clean, and that gives us our best opportunity to advance.
What do you think the switch was that flipped for West Virginia?
What's that?
What do you think it was when you guys played West Virginia?
Well, we had a little more time to prepare. We didn't have a midweek game. We've had signs of pitching well. We've been very solid defensively, and offensively we've been a work in progress that at times have shown great approach. And I think that's what the key was, is that we just pieced it all together. So the message of the team is, you've done that. So if we can continue to put all 3 phases together, you got a shot.
After the Arlington 0-2 stretch, Dylan said he kind of feels that anger that he wants to bring into Miami. Have you sensed that with the team, that obviously this time of year there's more energy, but that kind of propelling them as well?
I'm glad he said that, because I think our team is much better when we have a little edge about us and when they have something to prove. And sometimes I feel like they are very good at that, and then they drop their guard a little bit, and it's continuous learning lessons. You look back at the OU series, it was very frustrating. Then you go into the Friday night game against San Jose State, and that was a blow for them. And then to bounce back and play the way we did against West Virginia was who I think we can continue to be. The tournament was frustrating. You go out and you just don't play well enough to even really compete, in my opinion. And they've got to use that as a motivator and use it as a lesson. We talk about you're either winning or learning, and we got to continue to learn and not drop our guard. And so I'm glad he said that. That's a great message for the team.
I know it's early, but what do you know about the other 3 teams in your regional?
Well, Matt Deggs replaced me when I left Sam Houston State and went to Tulane, and competed against his teams. I actually competed against him when he was the assistant at Louisiana. Played him in a regional at LSU. Very aggressive offense. They can hit for power. A really good running team. Take advantage of what you give them. They're not afraid to lay down a drag bunt, and so they're very consistent of how they label their offense. I don't know much about Maine right now, and then Miami is a historical program that's been there and done that. Had a few off years. Gino's done a great job with them. Watched a little bit of their game yesterday, but not enough to really give you a valid answer.
David, how critical was it later in the year to get that rotation of Davis and LeBaron and even Tanner as much as he can? How big is that when you go into something like this?
It's so huge to get guys in their normal spots, to know that they're going to go Friday, I'm going to go Saturday, we're going to start with Sunday, and then we're going to piggyback off of that. I think that's also the key for the rest of this week, is really identifying how we're going to use the bullpen that matches with the starters so they can prepare similar to the starters. And, you know, we talked about in 21 where we felt really confident about how we were utilizing our bullpen and never felt like we got there in 22. So I think it's mine and Woody's goal this week is to kind of identify it and go with it. And I think that puts them in their best position to have success as well. But and again, we may flip it after we look at the matchups and go Lucas game 2 and LBJ game 1. But that's something we'll know within the hour or so.
You talked about the bullpen trying to get into that right place and the right frame of mind and pairing them up. How big is pitching depth at this point an issue, having a couple guys injured?
Well, you have some reliable guys injured in David Shaw and Heston Toll. We still have some big arms such as Zane, who had a good outing the other day. Staley has shown some signs of some really plus innings. Just finishing innings is key for him. And then Charlie Hurley's got a big arm. He's got to really throw the ball in the middle of the plate and let it work. And so those three guys I think are so critical. And then the continuation of Andre Duplantier threw really well 2 days ago in squad, and see if he can fit into that role. And then you have two reliable left-handers in Boogie and then Chase Loomis. Chase has been really solid. So matching those guys potentially or bridging can be very critical for us. And then utilizing some of the younger guys if we get in some type of one-sided game.
Do you expect Heston and David to be available?
No, they're not available.
Okay. And then how did you handle Tanner? Do you throw like a simulated game so you can get pitching around Tanner? How did he kind of work?
Yeah, he threw on Saturday. We squatted Friday and Saturday. He preferred to throw Saturday for the extra day, and that's what we did. Went 45, 3 1/3. Very good. It was very good, and I think he's ready to go. He was kind of on that bubble where we felt comfortable to put him out 60 to 65. But it's just the way it worked out that we only went just below 50. But I like his progression. I think he's going to be a big piece of this thing.
Coach, what's your favorite part of this season?
Just the adrenaline, to watch the excitement of our players knowing that they're playing for something. It's postseason. It's the best time in college baseball. The excitement throughout the country. It's just great for our industry. And you know, even as an old coach, you get your juices going to go compete for something that's pretty special.
Because the experience of guys like Eric, Dylan, what he got last year, Tanner, the experience they've had in the tournament, is that an asset for a team that has some younger guys who've never been through this?
No doubt. I mean, even a guy that like Peyton, who hasn't played a lot in the postseason, but he's been around it. Mitch Daly. I mean, Mitch hasn't had his best year, and we all know that, but the kid's been a 3-year starter. He's played in Omaha back-to-back years, so he can bring a lot to our team. I'm really proud of Mitch right now because of some of his struggles, but he's continued to play great defense. His mind is right, and so I see Mitch helping this team a lot as we continue our run. And, you know, it's hard to replace experience, but when you have talent like JT and Peyton and maybe even Flo, Rylan Galvan, those guys can do some things that are pretty special.
David, you mentioned after the game Thursday, just need to get back and get healthy. How much did a couple days off help JT and Peyton, those guys?
Tremendously. I mean, we were sitting them down until today, and they'll hit today. They've already swung in the cages, so it was just needed. And you got two bodies that hadn't played that deep into a season with that type of intensity, you know, maybe just caught up to them. So we're going to need both of them. So I think the rest is huge for them. Good? All right. Appreciate you guys.
David, you know the saying,